On what I believe myself, I'm a believer in something that we call systems thinking. I believe that whatever we do is part of something that is whole. Like if we have to elect a governor, we need to have a good MCA, we need to have a good member of parliament, we need to have a good woman representative and senator, because all these positions are interlinked. So if you want to deliver, we need to have good leadership at all levels. I'm a believer in Azimio. I support Raila Odinga presidency. But him alone will not be, it will not be good for the country, and not for the county in particular. If we just have a good president, we do not have a good governor for Nairobi. So in my manifesto, we have worked within the framework of the Sustainable Development Goals. Because in 2015, September, the United Nations came up with a framework that was supposed to address all developing and developed countries, so that every country customizes its own abilities within the framework of the Sustainable Development Goals. This is unlike the Millennium Development Goals, the previous framework of the United Nations that only talked about developing countries. So within that framework, we've seen, for example, President Uhuru Kenyatta came up with the Big Four agenda, which is also still under the Vision 2030 for this country. So the Big Four agenda is within the framework of the Sustainable Development Goals, and that's the basis under which we have also fashioned our manifesto. Because even if you do everything else and you are not addressing the issue of poverty, then there's no progress you are making. We need to ensure that we eradicate or eliminate or minimize poverty within our populations in this city. And for us to minimize that poverty, we need to address the aspects that bring about poverty. It starts with education. People say that education is the greatest equalizer. So we are having an arrangement whereby in the education sector, right from the beginning, we give priority in terms of bursaries or support for educational programs to people who come from poor backgrounds, particularly people who come from single parenthood, single mothers in particular. You look at people who are orphans, will be given priority when giving bursaries. We'll not go with the framework of what people usually say, bright children, or people who are not that so bright. Sometimes performance in class is so much affected by challenges at home. So that's why we have, within our manifesto, factored in that we are going to implement a proper framework of school feeding program, so that still addresses SDG number 2, because elimination of hunger. Once we eliminate hunger, especially from the young children, they'll be able to concentrate at school, get the best marks, perform well, and become valuable members of the society. So we are looking at education, we are looking at elimination of hunger, reduction of poverty, and we are also looking at the general well-being of the Nairobians. The health facilities, we have the maternity facilities, we need to expand. We need to have more of them. And once we have more of them, the buildings alone are not enough. Apart from the structures that we have there, we'll have to ensure that they are well equipped, that all Nairobians have access to good health, that all Nairobians have access to facilities within their vicinity. We want to ensure that in every ward in this county, there's a health facility that is properly equipped, that takes care of a range of ailments, that takes care of maternity services, that takes care of some of the critical challenges that people face on day-to-day basis in terms of health. We are looking at an aspect of having clean water and sanitation. We want Nairobians to have clean water. We have seen situations whereby some politicians, some crude politicians, deliberately sabotage water access for the citizens, and then instead get some water from elsewhere, brand them with their names, and then try to use them as a way of attracting votes. We want to put that to an end. We have a plan of, within our county budgets, once we are able to eliminate corruption within the county, we'll be able to have enough money to sink enough boreholes. When we were, I worked with the Waziri Eugene Wamalwa, and when we were the Minister of Water, he partnered with the county government then to sink a number of boreholes in this city to address the issue of water shortage. So I believe that at this moment, After eliminating corruption within the county, we'll be able to have extra budgets that will cater for enough boreholes in every ward, in every village in this city, to have all citizens gain access to clean water and sanitation. Clean water will ensure that we do not have these diseases, airborne and waterborne diseases will be minimized, pandemics will be minimized. We will not have situations of like, remember there was a time in Nairobi we had cholera. It was because of these sanitation challenges. There's also that aspect of gender equality. I'm a believer in gender equality. It's SDG number 5. I'm a believer in gender equality. And gender equality will ensure that even the children you have, your daughter will have an equal opportunity as my son, or my daughters will have equal opportunity as your sons when we get to the time of them having a share in opportunities, whether in leadership, elective leadership, or running organizations. So in a nutshell, we are having that kind of framework, but the key thing that we want to eradicate, according to me, because I've addressed the issue of the challenges of leadership. If we have correct leadership, then we'll be able to have all these systems work, because no one thing can work in isolation. Even if we have a good procurement officer, for example, and we have a